Welcome back to Bio News Network. We're actually working on Volume 3, Chapter 5. We have actually approached a milestone of 300 words in our series that we've actually covered, looking at their synonyms, how they're actually used, some of the major vocabulary rules, and also we've expanded slowly with each episode over the last few weeks with 12 new words every day. So here we are with Volume 3, Chapter 5, words appease, clamor, dogma, echelon, encomium, extemporaneous, mollify, patent, all the way through to scurvy. And we're going to take a closer look at how these words are going to line up with our word cloud storage memory system. And of course, we're going to be trying to make associations with the different storage bins along the human body, all the way from the hair, ear, and mouth, all the way down to the ankle and the feet. These are color coded storage bins, and there are going to be times when we're going to be able to make associations directly with the storage bin itself, whereas we may only be able to make a word to picture association. But the most important thing is to try and make an association with the color of the cloud, as well as the word itself to its synonym, and also the picture to word association. And then, of course, taking a look at our sample sentences, which is going to be pretty important. We're going to be doing a lot of recall exercises on the first, for the next few days or so, for the first 300, doing a lot of different memory recalls before we go into a little bit more of the more advanced words on our list to round out the next 200 or 300 words. So let's see what we can do today as far as looking at some of the words that we're going to be looking at. Today we're looking at appease, and we can actually see how that's used in a sentence. The young mother was so happy to appease her starving child with a milk substitute formula. And we see from our word cloud storage bin, it's actually assigned to the hair storage bin, synonym relieve, and we see pacifier again, simply because it means the verb pacify. This is the first word in our blue group. And then we have clamor. Clamor, which is a verb or noun, could be for protest or uproar, and we have the picture of a lion there. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence so we can firmly implant this word into our memory. As a result of the failed attempt to raise the minimum wage in Florida, there was a loud clamor at City Hall. Verb noun meaning noisy protest. So if we look at our word cloud storage chart, we can see that the synonym is uproar, and we're making association, a picture to word association of the lion roaring. And also there could be an air storage bin association, simply because protests tend to be loud and very rather vulgar in some instances, of course, but it's going to appeal to the air storage bin. So that is a very good association of air storage bin to clamor, to uproar, to the picture to word association, protest. Whatever association you can achieve that clicks in your mind or your brain to help you to remember the word, whatever is going to work for you best, whether it's word to synonym or word to picture or word to definition or even the storage bin to the word and so forth. So whatever associations you can make, it's your path to actually being able to recall the word whenever you need it. Whenever you need it, should you see it on the exam or in just everyday at work or any other venue. And then we have dogma. Dogma is the unifying code among the protesters on Wall Street. Was the dogma that was centered on the greed of capitalism, and that means noun, system of principles. So we actually see dogma as rounding out our blue group, and that is attached to the mouth storage bin. But we can see there that dogma, if probably the best association to remember it would be dogma to doctrine, and you see the book there, a system of principles, and that rounds out the HEM group here, air and mouth group, the blue cloud group. And we see that the three picture words association was a pacifier, the roaring lion, clamor, and doctrine, which is the book. Then we go to echelon, and echelon level, grade, or rank or grade. And that is the first word in our SSE group, shoulder, stomach, elbow group. It's easier just to remember it as your orange cloud group. And echelon, rank, or grade. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence here. Echelon. Many graduates from Harvard get job offers from Wall Street and move up the upper echelon of executives very fast. So it has to do with the rank or the grade. And that's why you see a picture of stairs next to the level, so that you can remember that echelon has to do with moving up the corporate ladder. And then our next word in our orange group is encomium. Uh, encomium, and synonym is warm, noun, praise, or glorify. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence. When Jerry graduated from law school and passed the bar exam, he wasn't ready for the encomium of praise from friends and family. Noun meaning praise or glory. Encomium. So we have a new word there that we're going to have to make an association. Let's see what's the best association we can make here. Synonym warm. So if you want to make an association to the stomach storage bin of encomium, warm, praise, and glorify. So most likely the best association will just be to do a vocabulary recall cheat sheet, and when you are actually doing the vocabulary recall cheat sheet, you take two keywords from the sample sentence, and that's going to be able to help you remember and trigger the memory of encomium as you go encomium as you go forward with this word if you forget it. So the memory vocabulary recall sheets are going to be serving you very, very handy going forward. And we spent a lot of time on the vocabulary recall sheets in chapter 4, just so that you understood the importance. The next word is the longest word in the group, and is extemporaneous, and we see that it means improvise, done without preparation. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence here. The mayor spoke extemporaneously about the tornado damage without consulting with the FEMA director. Adjective meaning done without preparation. And we can actually see here that it's improvise. We see a picture toward association of someone holding different types of tools, so that could be a good association. Our next that rounds out our orange group for clouds. So let's just quickly go over the blue clouds: appease, clamor, dogma, doctrine, the roar of the lion, relieve, pacifier. And then we have echelon, encomium, and we have extemporaneous, extemporaneous. Those are that rounds out the blue and the orange group. The next group is going to be mollify, patent, and profuse. And we see here that mollify simply means to soothe or to calm. We do see that lollipop there, and just wanted to. That will be a symbol of sort of a pacifier. Property appraiser's office did everything they could to mollify angry residents who were protesting outside, most likely with respect to property tax hikes. So most people end up protesting at the property appraiser's office. But in any event, mollify is the first word in our red group. It means soothe or to calm. And then we have patent, apparent, or verb, noun, calm. And we do see there it is in the hand and wrist group, arm, wrist, and hand group. And then we have profuse, which is extravagant, abundant. Let's see how they're actually used in a sentence. Patent. When Jen wrote the letter to her ex-boyfriend, it was apparent that it was obviously full of patent lies. Noun, verb, or noun meaning obvious. And then profuse. Profuse has to do with this an overboard. The couple spent $2 million on their wedding, and the decorations were a profusion of style and elegance. So there we can see that profuse has to just do with has to do with extravagance and abundance. Profuse, and um, patent has to do with obvious or apparent. Patent lies, and mollify has to do with calming or soothing. So there we have the red group, and we see that patent is the picture to word association would be the register symbol. We wanted you to use that as a memory trigger point as far as a word picture to word association. And then we have extravagant, profuse, abundant, and the lady there in the cocktail. Well, it looks more like a fancy wedding dress. So when we go to our gray group, we have pugilism, we have refractory, and we have scurvy. And some people may be accustomed to the word scurvy as far as an ailment that affects those who are suffering from malnutrition. But in this case, it's actually an adjective meaning mean or contemptible. So let's see how the first one, pugilism, is actually used. It's fighting with fists, boxing. And let's see how we actually use it in a sentence here. The UFC style of fighting was initially banned, however, its aggressive and often bloody fights became popular. Fighting with fists, pugilism. And then we have refractory. Bystanders had a hard time comprehending how a refractory child went unchecked by his mother. Adjective meaning hard, hard to manage. And then we are working with the last word, and scurvy, and that's contemptible. Let's see how it's actually used in a sentence here. When a fight broke out at a family barbecue reunion, Jerry was so scurvy that he deliberately broke his cousin's arm in two places, who was eventually rushed to the hospital. Contemptible. So there we have our 12, 12 words that we're going to be focusing for volume 3, chapter 5. We hope that this is serving you really well. And we're actually going to be tuning into a lot more of the vocabulary recall cheat sheets and using other types of memory mnemonics to help you actually refresh and recall your memory of the first 300 words before we actually jump into any more of these lessons. So here we have the first 25 chapters filled with some really powerful words, many of which may show up on your TOEFL or SAT exam and on other standardized exams. So we definitely wanted to make sure that you understood exactly where you stood with respect to these words. So by all means, make sure that you see the entire list. You'll be able to see the entire list so far of the videos that we've covered in this series, Perfect English Grammar, Volume 1, Chapter 1 through Volume 3, Chapter 5. So we're actually dealing with significant amount of building on our list building and helping to fine-tune our grammar skills here. Well, thank you for tuning into Bound News Network for Volume 3, Chapter 5. We're going to continue working on building your vocabulary, and we're going to be bringing additional videos as far as pronunciations, more recall tricks for recalling words, and really ingraining the first 300 words into your memory so that when we move on to brand new lessons here, new chapters, then you'll be more prepared for the next 200 or 300 words in this series. Well, thanks for tuning in to Bound News Network. Please make sure you hit the notification bell, and we appreciate you tuning in. And by all means, please share these videos with friends, family, share it on social media, especially those who want to fine-tune their grammar skills and pick up and expand their vocabulary with 12 new words every day while watching this series. And have a great day. Thank you for watching.